prepared for this.
Got my tarp up because it is supposed to rain tonight.
Yeah, it sounds more aggressive than the last one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He looks like he's over 18 feet long. It's huge. Oh, I need to adjust my nose plug.
Some encounters don't come from what you see, but from what you hear in the dark. In one case, violent scratching erupts from inside the walls of a 150-year-old farmhouse. In another, a lone winter camper flees his sight after an unexplainable sound echoes from the trees. When danger never shows itself, how do you know if you're safe or if something is still out there listening? On January 25th, 2021, Heidi continues repairing her country farmhouse on the YouTube channel Lil Red Heidi Hood, recognized for homestead projects and farm living. That day, she steps into a 150-year-old woodshed and the farmhouse attic areas left undisturbed for generations. What should be simple work gradually feels tense as the aging rooms answer with quiet motion and noises that do not fully clarify themselves.
In the wood shop with me, you guys, this is an absolute snake den, but I'm trying to find some good pieces of wood. So I'm gonna try to find and salvage a few pieces of wood to build something here in a minute. Stay tuned and see what I can find. Oh, I just know there's a snake under there.
Well, pay attention to your hand. Oh, that's pretty. Yeah.
Look at that.
Awesome.
Really cool.
Awesome.
That would actually match that other
I
piece.
was thinking the same thing.
The way they cut it, old mill. The way that's got these lines on there. I don't see another one.
Yeah, I like those thick ones that were up under that. Pull that up and out of the way.
I'm trying. What do you think I'm doing? You think this is a Build-A-Bitch workshop? Which one am I trying to get?
Yeah, what happened to those neat ones I saw under that piece? Right behind that piece that looks like a wood. That looks like real wood.
Yeah. Oh, God. I want my death to be documented.
It's kind of a slow death when a snake bites you. I've been after Heidi for months, so let's get out here and clean out this workshop and separate the wood.
I ain't even getting paid for this.
Yeah, it'll be rewarding.
No, it won't.
That's a big bad boy.
Ooh, that's pretty. Alright, I think I'm done for a minute. Look at this piece. That is gorgeous. The knots are still intact and everything.
Yeah. I want that piece.
You kidding me? Gotta put in the work, sis.
Inside the 150-year-old woodshed, Heidi repeatedly cautions that this spot is a snake nest. Each step is deliberate, every board raised slowly. The fear is not from what appears.
What's this supposed to be doing? Just give me some light. Where?
Right there. You might can just do that piece of cement. Oh no.
Look at all those ladybugs.
I know, that's behind the chimney. You can't get to the boards to replace them there.
But from what might be concealed under the floor and timber. Later, Heidi climbs up into the farmhouse attic. The area is dim, narrow, and covered with bat droppings. Light slips through gaps in the roof, showing rot time and how vulnerable the house truly is.
The woodshed, it got quite spidery. Saw a couple black widows. The rest of the stuff that's in there is just little rotten. So took a break, and my mom is up on the roof now.
Back in the wood, shed the pressure builds when Heidi confirms black widow spiders. Cleaning becomes risky. One wrong move here could mean more than only a fright. Near the close of the video, the earlier cautions turn real.
You guys, I just heard a snake slithering. I couldn't see it though, it was up under. No, I just saw it slithering up under a bunch of these leaves over here in this corner. And I heard it first, and then I saw the leaves moving, and I threw something over there and it went So I kind of think we should go in there into that corner. Right over there, like see where that through that piece right there? That's laying flat. Alright, just be quiet. I'm gonna throw something else and see if we can hear it. You hear it? It's right under there. You hear it? You can't deny that.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to find out where he is.
Well, he could be coming out this way.
Dry leaves abruptly move. The sound is clear. A snake is shifting just below the surface near hidden and very much alive.
Something's in the wall.
But I'm sure it's a squirrel.
Yeah, it sounds more aggressive than the last one.
As night arrives, sharp scratching and pounding burst from inside the wooden wall. The noise grows hostile and close. Neither Heidi nor her mother can determine what is inside, leaving the moment unsettled. Some viewers propose animals' weak insulation or rodents within the walls, logical causes for an old farmhouse. But if it is only animals, why did the noises seem deliberate? And why did everyone suddenly freeze? On November 15th, 2025, Luke from the YouTube channel Outdoor Boys is left alone along a remote section of Alaska's Bering Sea coast. Known for survival skills and wilderness teaching, the channel follows Luke into harsh environments. This trip carries a dark purpose, locating a dead walrus washed ashore by a storm before bears or rising water reach it. In a place like this, isolation feels like danger.
Look at this. See, there's the fresh grizzly bear tracks, and you can tell that there's layers of old prints underneath that. Grizzly bears like to walk up and down the same trails. I definitely don't want to leave my gear on this trail or I'm going to have bear problems. I got off the grizzly bear trail and I can see another trail going right through here. You can see here the hoof prints. These are all caribou tracks. I've got about 3.5 miles to go down that beach to get to the walrus carcass. Most of my gear right here and hope the bears don't find it before I get back.
As he walks the beach, Luke spots fresh grizzly bear tracks pressed into damp sand. They are wide, sharp, and recent. The discovery is troubling because it proves the area is active and the animal that made them may still be close.
That body is going to be a long and disgusting process, so I think I'm going to have myself some lunch before I get started. I'll be honest, it doesn't smell very good where I'm sitting, and once it's going to get much, much worse. So I brought along some earplugs. It may look ridiculous, but it's worth it. I don't know. This may seem like overkill, but anything that gets rotten walrus on it will not be allowed back into my house. Oh, I need to adjust my nose plugs. Oh, that was bad. That was the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life. Oh. Well, I got through the skin and now I'm just trying to figure out where the walrus's neck is. And where the head ends and the body begins is not exactly obvious. So I'm having to cut away pieces and kind of search around, and it's, I nicked my glove. Gotta make sure my finger's okay. I'm not sure if he even went all the way through the skin. It's really common for walruses to have trichinosis, and I don't want to catch any weird diseases. Well, I spent about an hour cutting. Sit down with the knife and cut off as many bits of flesh as I can. And I don't care how ridiculous these nose plugs look, they're an absolute lifesaver. That is noticeably heavier. But now that I've got my walrus head, I've got to hold on to it. I guess I'm technically trolling for bears at this point. A little break, a little drink, a little snack. Let's do another quarter mile or two. Oh, my back. Oh. If I keep taking breaks, I think I can save my back. Tell you, this is exhausting, but what a beautiful day to be exhausted. And not being mauled by a bear is just a real cherry on top. I'm really anxious to see if any animals mess with my stuff. Probably gonna be okay. Looks like my gear's all here. Yay, I am tired. Oh, there's a hole in the bag and the walrus head just leaked goo all over the sled. I got maybe an hour before it gets really dark, so I'm gonna try to gather firewood. Tell you what, firewood's a lot lighter than walrus heads.
Farther down the coast, Luke finds the walrus. The huge body is swollen and decaying. He works beside it, cutting through flesh while fighting the powerful stench. The moment is unsettling, not only because of the task, but because of the setting and open shoreline where the smell of death can spread far.
The fire doesn't need to be big and scary. It doesn't need to last all night. Sending smoke downwind the same direction as that walrus smell. So any bear that picks up the smell of the walrus will also know there's a human here. For most animals around, I'm seeing the last little bit of the sun disappear over the horizon. All right, guys, I'm going to sleep. I'll see you in the morning. I'm going to bed.
As daylight fades, Luke drags the severed walrus head back toward camp, calling it trolling for bears. Every step leaves a trail of blood and scent, clearly marking his position in known grizzly territory as night approaches. Darkness covers the camp. Luke retreats into his tent while mosquitoes crowd the mesh drawn by warmth and lingering odor. The shore grows quiet. With predators unseen and nowhere to go, he forces himself to sleep, knowing rest is the only way forward. Luke never meets a bear on camera. Yet with fresh tracks and a scent trail across the beach, the question lingers, did nothing follow him? Or did something simply remain hidden? On June 17, 2022, Bahadur camps by himself beside a wooded lake as a powerful storm approaches. The video comes from Dr. Wilderness, Bahadur Kalich, a channel recognized for quiet, true-to-life solo camping. There is no commentary, only rainfall thunder, and a night that refuses to calm. He anchors his tent close to the shoreline as the downpour grows heavier, aware that once the storm reaches full force, leaving will no longer be an option. The spot feels unprotected, open water ringed by trees with no solid refuge nearby. Inside the tent, he ignites a small stove and closes himself in. Rain and thunder pound the fabric just inches away. What makes the scene uneasy is not what he can see, but what he can hear, and how thin the shelter truly is. When water starts moving near the tent, he remains motionless, saving strength. With no safer choice available, he lies down and makes himself rest, waiting for the storm to fade. Viewers say the fear is quiet. Nothing strikes yet non-stop. Weather pressure creates genuine mental strain. It appears calm on camera. But would it feel the same if you were alone in that tent all night? This segment is from Hiking with Jenny, a YouTube channel devoted to long-distance treks, solo backpacking, and immersive trail journeys. On January 10th, 2026, Jenny walks from Whitewater Falls toward Tuxway Campsite along North Carolina's Foothills Trail. The route opens on an easy section, winding through shallow channels and small cutouts, but the gentle ground doesn't continue for long.
And it's, it's like pretty basic. It's a bun, like a hamburger bun. Between the bun halves, I imagine you're supposed to remove the underwear and it's supposed to just be more like a hint of flavor. That's like, oh, this is like the new fad thing to order. I would call that a weird dream. I didn't get to the point where you actually eat the sandwich. It was just sort of like served. So I was not the only one to order this. All right, now we're talking. That is a honking staircase. Holy cow. This looks like...
The walk starts peacefully, yet the landscape soon becomes demanding. Jenny confronts a huge staircase carved into the slope, its sharp climb straining already tired legs with little margin for error. Every step needs balance and care, where moving too fast could cause a fall.
Oh, scary bridge. Oh god. Why do they have to be bouncy?
Not long after she reaches a narrow suspension bridge that shifts beneath her weight, the drop below making each movement tense as she slowly crosses. Jenny arrives at camp just as light rain begins. Her feet ache and fatigue shows.
First one was taken, but I was aiming for this one because I've heard it's got a nice view. Picnic table. It looks like some good trees for hanging. This will be home for tonight. Got my tarp up because it is supposed to rain tonight. It's actually already kind of drizzling. Alright, I'm in my hammock for the night. Oh, my feet were so sore. Got my food hung. I have 27 miles left of the trail, so the next couple days shouldn't be as bad mileage-wise. And I've positioned myself right before a particularly challenging part of the trail. I probably am gonna sleep early tonight because I'm just so tired, and there is a big group of people that showed up after I had set up. Hopefully they'll go to sleep and not be up all night laughing. Anyways, this is the end of day 2. Thank you for watching. Happy trails.
But the still surroundings allow her to settle. What makes the day hard is not threat, but steady climbs and trail features that gradually drain strength. If a path can seem calm one moment and risky the next, how often do unseen dangers appear when tiredness and focus begin to slip? The footage is from Nick C., a solo backcountry adventure creator recognized for winter camping bushcraft and immersive survival-style outings in isolated mountain regions. On January 15th, 2026, Nick is staying alone at a remote winter campsite high in the mountains. As night arrives, Nick sits quietly, listening to the familiar noises of the forest, when a strange sound suddenly rises from the nearby trees.
What is that? I kept hearing it though, did some research. Turns out it's from the, I forget what it's called, frost booms, or I don't know. It's from like freezing of water within the trees. Some birds make the creepiest sounds in the world. Foxes make scary noise. There's all these things that make the creepiest noises. The amount of times I left a campsite because I heard something terrifying, year or so, especially making these videos, I've gotten so much better with that. Can't even count. Really not a lot for sounds that'll bother me. I've heard mountain lions. Dark, I'll just sit there and listen to the forest. When you hear those, when you're not scared at night and you hear the same thing, some of them otherwise might have scared you, you're like, oh, that's normal, right? So yeah, I've gotten a lot better with it. But what I just heard, I don't know, guys. Holy, did it scare me. So actually what happened is not the last clip where I was showing my gear, but after the one before that, after I'd shown you guys with a spot, I heard this sound. Or
It is close, clear, and instantly disturbing. Unsure of its source, he withdraws to his vehicle. When he steps back outside, the sound returns from the tree line stronger, and clearly not a normal animal call.
In a sec, I literally hear, I'm like, I'm done. I grabbed my stuff and I literally sprinted. When people say the hair on the back of your neck stands up, I am out of here. What the heck is that? Yeah, no.
After waiting inside the car, it happens again, this time seeming even nearer. The repeated noise sparks real fear, and Nick decides the danger is too great. He leaves the campsite, hurries back to his vehicle, and later reviews the recording. The sound is sharp but hard to explain, leaving him shaken and unwilling to go back that night. The event shows how unfamiliar noises can overpower experience during solo winter camping, and when the cause cannot be identified, the question remains, when does caution become the only safe choice? The following unsettling clip is from Roaming in Raymond, Motorhome Adventures, a UK solo van life channel that records real unscripted journeys across Britain. On June 25th, 2024, in Brading on the Isle of Wight, bad weather leaves the creator alone inside her motorhome as fog and rain surround the area.
Because I've got to do that thing online tomorrow, even though it's meant to be raining tomorrow. And it is already getting misty. Gorgeous view that though, innit? So, don't know what to do now. I mean, I came back to Brodick because it was meant to be chucking down, and I've just used the last of my milk as well, so I need to go to the shop, which means I want to be as far away from this end of the island. You know, I've got places I want to go back to that I really liked, and I want to go to new places as well. I'm going to walk Wolfie for now. Go and walk to the co-op and get myself some milk. I could stay here till tomorrow because at least I can get editing done and get videos uploaded. See if it does piss down or not. I mean, I'm meant to be meeting Stephen and going to the botanical place because you have to sit outside on the beach a bit, which ain't very good if it's chucking down with rain. Well, we've been well and truly rained off now. So that's the end of today. And I've got an issue again. This is where I've got to get Carl to do the welding when I get back. I'm just going to have to shove a towel in there for now. But it'll stop me bloody carpet getting wet and rotting and getting mushrooms growing on it. While I'm rained off, as Stephen calls it, van jail. At least I can get editing done, can't I, Wolfie? Which ain't very exciting for you, is it? Anyway, I thought I'd do an update. So I've done now, I left on the Sunday.
Unaware that the quiet hours ahead will bring more than rough conditions. Late that evening, she walks her dog along streets that feel strangely deserted with silence and darkness, adding to the tension.
When I took the dog out, because I didn't take him till 11:30, and then because it's like the middle of the week, there was nobody around. I'm not a fan of the dark anyway, but at least there's street lights there. But yeah, otherwise I've been alright. Last night, coming in, I kept getting a big massive puddle down there in that ridge. And it's been that bad. That and that are absolutely sopping wet. Gotta try and get them dry. I ended up having to move last night. I mean, not very far, but because where I was open to the elements, and 45-mile-an-hour winds all night, and it was blowing on that side of the van. And I think that was just making it, forcing the rain in to wherever the tiny gap is. That was about 12:30 last night. I ended up moving because I just thought I'm going to run out of tea towels to try and dry.
During the night, heavy rain leaks into the van, forming pools of water inside as strong winds force it farther in. With no towels left, she moves the vehicle for cover, only to find the seatbelt mount coming loose in her hand.
So I've got a towel shoved down there for the leak what started yesterday. I've got a towel shoved down there. I'm trying to keep me and the dog dry. I went to put my seatbelt on and the whole stem just came off in my hand. well, it's not the bolt, it's the nut, had completely come off, and I hadn't realised. So as I went to put the seatbelt on, the stalk bit with the clip thing on the end was in my hand. These have been that low, they're going below 12, and then it's done so the compressor fridge cuts out so it doesn't dry.
As battery power drops and the refrigerator shuts down, the interior grows cold, turning the night into a chain of worsening problems. The experience shows how quickly minor issues, weather isolation, and small mechanical faults can combine into real strain when traveling alone. And when empty roads darkness and unseen troubles build up, how fast can a peaceful night become something far more disturbing? The next unsettling footage comes from The Muscovite, a travel and lifestyle channel that follows solo road trips and remote camping throughout Russia. On October 8, 2025, the route leads into a forested part of Curelia, where small, isolated cabins rest beside a lake, unaware that the quiet there will not last through the night. The traveler checks the small cabin chosen for the night. The room is tight with a low entrance and a narrow window looking into the woods. Inside, the light does not work. Spiders line the walls, and the bed and furnishings are heavily worn. Towels are stuffed into gaps in the walls to make the space usable while the forest outside remains completely still. The poor state of the cabin and the isolation create tension. Then a sudden unexplained sound comes from inside.
What was that?
She stops, uncertain where it came from, as the woods outside stay silent. Later, she inspects another nearby cabin and finds it in even worse shape, suggesting the area has been abandoned for a long time. Through the night, occasional noises come from around the site, repeatedly pulling her attention back toward the trees. Though unsettled, the view of houses and parked vehicles across the road helps keep panic away. By morning, she notes that while the first cabin was impossible to stay in, moving to another structure made the night bearable. The night in Curelia shows how isolation, silence, and unfamiliar surroundings can magnify uncertainty even without a visible danger. And when a place gives no clear answers, the question remains, how can you tell when discomfort is harmless and when it is a warning you should not ignore? That's it for tonight. Which moment creeped you out the most? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story? Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.